Hi, this is Geoffrey from the Sophia Hills in Hollywood, California. And right now I'm looking at the Fender American Deluxe Strat Bridge. And we have a direct replacement for it called the 222 that comes in various different models. And I thought I would take a little bit of time to explain to you what we're doing. One of the things about it is this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 saddle parts. So that's 30 parts right there. 3 for this, that's 34, the block's 35, and you have the arm. So before you know, it's about 40 parts. So from a point of view, simplicity is better. The more parts you have, you start to get an acoustic sponge unless you deal with it in a very specific way. Further, these saddles sit above the base plate on these 2 matching set screws for height adjustment. It has a tone. It has its own place, but we felt we could do something with it. And so the first thing that I wanted to introduce is the Sophia 222 with standard bridge elements. When you have this, you still have 6 parts plus the attachment screw. That's 12, 15 for this, 16 plus the block. That's 18 parts plus the arm assembly. It's about half this number of parts. We put a pre-radius of R14 here, but we do sell shims so you can change it. The great thing about the standard is it looks very familiar. It's kind of a nod to the vintage look. And it also comes with a cold rolled steel block where you can string through in the traditional way. This will come up through the saddle and you get a traditional long threading setup. The saddle for this standard also can receive the string. And the idea there is the ball end ends up here and all the windings go to the intonation point, meaning that there's very, very little stretch and you have a slightly tighter feel like associated with locking tremolos. So you can use this in either way. The cold rolled steel is, like I said, is a not Fender. You have so few parts in stainless steel, a really nice base plate. You have a very simple, direct, usable bridge that covers a lot of territory and tone. Further, we have the new revised Sophia arm. It looks very similar, but we made some adjustments, and we have a very, besides being no wobble, it's very direct. And you can move it in position, and it still holds on to its directness. We feel this adds to the tone of the bridge as well. You can't get much simpler or more direct to that. And all of them come with stop blocks or trem stops that go in here. They're threaded in, they miss the springs, you can lock them here. And as you may already know, we have a Uno set up for stabilization that works for these types of bridges. The second entry into this is because our parts are mostly interchangeable. The macro tuners fit here, the deluxe saddles fit here as well. And this one has a lock. You put the strings through the back and you lock individually. It's the same intonation screws. It does add 3 more parts. So the complexity goes up, but because it's locked down, you deal with the complexity in a very significant way. The other thing to remember about the Deluxe is because they're top loaded, you don't actually use the string through in this. You'll have a traditional top loading or like a locking tremolo feel. When that happens, of course, we can make the next step and use our performance brass blocks on here. And that increases the range for a floating tremolo. So like an American Fender or something, you can raise this 1/8 of an inch off the ground, get a nice floating position and pull up major third in some cases. It depends, anywhere from a second to a major third. And it's in part activated because we're using a narrow performance block, so it uses more of the tremolo. This also comes with a trem stop that you can just dial in. If you like a hard stop, you can dial it out and it always comes back to 0. That's built into every base model, and you'd have it on the cold rolled steel one or here. Along the way of our stabilization, you can also put a Global Tuner Pro on here, which you're all familiar with the dual stabilizer and the quick tune thumb wheel. But recently we introduced the Uno, and the first versions came with a long pin They will thread right through here and come out the other side like this and rest against your body of the guitar, so that you can come back in a stabilized drop-in fit, that you don't have to carve your guitar up. It's adjustable for size and you can lock it in position. And we have light and firm settings so that you could adjust the feel to your needs. And that we get a lot of calls from traditional Fender players and stuff. What can we do about double bends and things that country players really like? And so we've just recently introduced the Uno HD. To go back, so we have 3 parts of the Uno right now. We have a short and long nose, and then we have a long nose that's adjustable. Some people would really like to dial in the tension of their strings, and how much stabilization you get to get the best optical touch sensitivity from the addition of the stabilizer. What we did, though, is come up with the Uno HD. And this one is so hard, where these are just so easy to use, right? For your simple stabilization, they're very light. This one's, I think, adjustable as well. But we have a Uno. It's so firm that it's practically a hard stop. And we ordered it and specified that when you break a string, this base plate's only gonna shift about 5 cents. Its tremolo springs will drop it a little tiny bit, and this will hold it as if it's a hard stop. Hard stop, we get no shift. This will give you about 5 cents on a broken string. This means any double stops you could ever do in a hardtail, you can now do here, and also have a floating tremolo. Before, if it was so stabilized, you'd have to go below the pitch and hover. With these stabilized ones, you can do it at a pitch, but this is the replacement for a hardtail or a hard stop, where you'll get all those benefits and cover you with a broken string, but still be able to hover above and below the initial pitching tunings of the guitar. Thank you.